Shanti Shanti. Om Stapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharma swarupine Stapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharma swarupine Avatara Varishtaya Ramakrishna Yate Namaha Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Pratyormamritangamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us offer our salutations to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme God Incarnate, who came to establish universal religion. Let us pray to Him to lead us from the unreal to the real, to lead us from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, to lead us from death to immortality. Today's Gospel class I have taken the subject, keep away from evil. Many times, unknowingly, we play, not knowing the outcome of the play. The spiritual masters have given warning that you should very definitely be away from evil. Sri Ramakrishna said to Narendra, God dwells in all beings, but you may be intimate only with good people. You must keep away from the evil-minded. God is even in the tiger, but you can't impress the tiger on that account. You may say, why run away from a tiger, which is also a manifestation of God? The answer to that is, those who tell you to run away are also manifestations of God. And why shouldn't you listen to them? How nicely Sri Ramakrishna teaches us the lesson. To make it more clear, Sri Ramakrishna tells a parable. There lived in a forest a holy man who had many disciples. One day he taught them to see God in all beings, and knowing this, to bow low before them all, to show respect. One day, one of the disciples went to the forest to gather wood for the sacrificial fire. Suddenly he heard an outcry, "Get out of the way! Mad elephant is coming." All but the disciple of the holy man took to their heels. This one disciple began to reason. The elephant was also God in another form. Then why should he run away from it? He stood still, bowed before the animal, and began to sing its praises. The mahout of the elephant shouted, run away quickly." But the disciple did move. The animal seized him with its trunk, cast him to one side, and went on its way. This disciple was greatly hurt and bruised, and lay unconscious on the ground. It was good fortune he survived. He would have died. Hearing what had happened, his teacher and his other brother disciples came to him and carried him to the hermitage. With the help of some medicine, the disciple soon regained consciousness. Then someone asked him, "You knew the elephant was coming. Why didn't you leave the place?" But the disciple said, "Our teacher has told us that God himself has taken all these forms of animals as well as men. Therefore, thinking it was only the elephant god that was coming, I didn't run away." At this the teacher immediately said, "What? It is true that the elephant god was coming, but the Mahut god forbade you to stay there. Since all are manifestations of God, why didn't you trust the Mahut's words? You should have heeded the words of the Mahut god." All laugh. So it is. Again Sri Ramakrishna gives another example. Nicely he teaches the lesson so that you will never forget it. Then Sri Ramakrishna says, it is said in the scriptures that water is a form of God, Jala Devata. But some water is fit to be used for worship, some water for washing the face, and some only for washing plates or dirty linen. This last sort cannot be used for drinking or for a holy purpose. In like manner, God certainly dwells in the hearts of all, holy and unholy, righteous and unrighteous. But a man should not have dealings with the unholy, the wicked, the impure. He must not be intimate with them. With some of them he may exchange words, but with others he shouldn't go even that far. He should keep aloof from such people. Association with the evil-minded is capable of changing the basic goodness of people and downgrading a person's integrity. Such a dangerous influence can even get one's priorities messed up, as it happened in the Ramayana when Kaikeyi met Manthara. The drastic change in the course of events that followed in the wake of this association illustrates the fact that evil consequences have immediate impact. The poisoning effect of Manthara's company was such there was a total transformation in Kaikeyi within a very brief period. Kaikeyi, who had special love for Sri Ramchandra, had expressed such genuine joy at his forthcoming coronation, was now just the opposite. Manthara had turned Kaikeyi against Sri Rama to such an extent that she stood relentless and unyielding to any pressure from anyone as far as the two boons she demanded of Dashrath were concerned. A series of thoughts passed through Dashrath's mind. He was aware of the ignominy that he would incur either way in this impasse. If he granted the boons which Kaikeyi asked for, one is coronation of Bharat, second is sending Rama to forest for 14 years. If he granted the boons, he would be accused of banishing his eldest son and heir apparent to the forest, and of showing partiality to his second born. On the other hand, if he refused to grant the boons, he would be blamed for failing to keep his word, a trait that great kings took utmost care to cultivate and uphold. Dasharatha's state was a pitiable one. Kaikeyi's two boons left Dasharath visibly shaken. This highly esteemed ruler, whose fame and greatness had spread far and wide, now had to stoop at Kaikeyi's feet, pleading with her to relax the intensity of the demands. But she had become very adamant. The poison that Manthara injected into her had occupied her whole mind. Totally her mind was poisoned. When she even threatened to give up her life if Dasharatha sought any relaxation in them. Then Dasharatha guessed the imminent and the inevitable that would happen. He would not survive separation from Lord Rama. Therefore, scriptures caution against evil company and recommended the association with the pious. The grace of God is necessary for the spiritual aspirant to seek satsang that provides a chance for self-introspection. This leads to viveka and vairagya, discrimination and dispassion, that help one to focus on the eternal and the everlasting rather than the transient and the ephemeral. All the great disciples of Sri Ramakrishna have dwelt on this topic and have given most valuable teachings, how to keep away from evil. Swami Brahmanji, he said, if you don't work, evil thoughts and unnecessary cares will occupy your mind. So it is very necessary to work. Work for the sake of the Lord. With spiritual attitude, work. Then it will be wonderful. It not only keeps your mind healthy, and you will be also cheerful. Then Brahmanji said, never find fault or criticize others. Such a habit is harmful to yourself. Why? By thinking continuously of the evil of others, the evil will impress itself upon your own mind, and the good that is in you will be overshadowed. All these teachings you can find in the Eternal Companion of Swami Brahmanji. Please read that book if you have not read. If you read it, read again. Again and again. Swami Shivanandaji. Somebody asked a question, Master, what would be the condition of this world if every individual person were truly spiritual? Prima facie, such a question is absurd and illogical. For evil as it is cannot altogether disappear from this world. It will ever remain a concomitant part of good. If evil thoughts come to your mind, then what should be done? Don't pay any heed to them. There are impressions of past lives in the mind, please note that. And now and then they come to the conscious plane. Then another question was asked. How is it that sometimes evil thoughts come to the mind? Shivanji said, that's quite natural. Pray to the Lord for strength, knowledge and dispassionateness. Pray to Him with all your heart for His grace and for devotion and faith. Then everything comes all right. Swami Premanandaji, he said, man will come to know what real happiness is. The Lord is the doer of good, and by His holy name all that is evil will disappear. Holy name. Have tremendous faith, unshaking faith in the divine name which you have taken at the time of initiation. Never lose faith. Faith is the savior of all dangers. Evil thoughts are to be driven away by good thoughts. Always keep in mind the Lord is the doer of good, and no evil can befall if one depends upon Him. Desire again is of two kinds, good and evil. That desire which tightens the bonds of ignorance is evil. That which loosens the bond is good. So things that increase your worldly tendencies are definitely classified as evil. So be careful about what samskaras you are creating consciously in the life. Swami Chidananda said, with whatever evil tendencies one may come, one is sure to improve in holy company. As when you go to an auto shop, the scent will enter your nostrils whether you will it or not. Attachment and aversion, likes and dislikes, are at the root of all evil. Hence the injunction to relinquish them. For free of them one can do with impunity whatever one likes. The seed is easily destroyed, but when it has germinated and grown into a big strong tree, it requires great strength and effort to hew it down. So we must crush our desires in their early undeveloped stages. Yogis can do this. They keep down undesirable thoughts in the germ state by smothering them beneath the thoughts of an opposite nature. Thus they conquer all evil tendencies, hatred with love, anger with kindness, and so on. Don't put the label. My nature is I become short-tempered. Kick yourself instead of telling like that. Spit upon yourself instead of telling like that. Never tell, my nature is anger to become angry. You will become worse if you keep on harping upon the bad nature. Never do that. A quarrelsome person constantly finds something to quarrel about. A peaceful person finds no one to quarrel with. I find so many people here with fixed notions. They have one set of idea that colors everything. They have one set idea that colors everything. They can't get away from it. Everything is explained according to that one idea. Some persons always want to argue. They often have little brain, cannot see a point, still they must argue. Then there are oversensitive persons. They are always on the defensive. Whatever general statement you make, they take as being directed towards them, to attack them. All these are causes for evil. But the evil is not in the world, it is in the persons. It is all a matter of misunderstanding. If we understand each other better, there will be less evil. Somebody asked the question, why is there so much evil in the world? Tulsidas says, to the good, the world is full of good, but to the bad, the world is full of evil. The world is neither good nor bad. What I call good, you perhaps call bad, and the reverse. Where is the standard? The standard is in our own attitude towards life. Each one has his own standard. And with increased experience and insight, the standard changes. The pity is that we still recognize evil. When we become perfectly good ourselves, the whole world will appear good. We see only the reflection of our own minds. See the Lord always in everything, and you will see no evil. Swami Adbhutanandaji, he said, evil qualities pollute the mind of a person who searches for the lapse and shortcomings of others. He who has learned to discriminate can successfully overcome lust and greed. So, cultivate your discrimination and conscience. How can you struggle against evil tendencies if your intellect is not trained to differentiate between good and evil? First clear out the rubbish which has entered the mind through the gates of the sense organs, and then put a no admittance sign in front of each gate. Those bad thoughts which ignore the notice and still come in, you will have to hand over to the police, which is our conscience. With the help of the police, you must evict the impure tendencies from the mind and then install the Lord there. Swami Abhedanji said, it is by the power of habit that evil thoughts rise in the mind. Form a contrary habit by continued practice, and gradually the habit of evil thoughts may not arise in the mind. Somebody asked a question to Swami Ramakrishna Math. He said, somebody asked a question, how has evil come? Sri Ramakrishna answered, the dualists say that all the good in man belongs to God and all the bad belongs to the man himself. The monists say that all belongs to God, both good and bad. In reality, all is God. It is He who actuates the evildoer as well as the saint. A man has a sugar candy to sell in the shape of a mango or a bird or a dog. A little boy says to his father, please buy me that bird. He thinks it will taste sweeter than the mango or the dog, whereas in reality they are all alike. In the same way, man looks at the world and calls this good and this bad. But as a matter of fact, It is all made out of the same substance. This is all the various images were made with the same sugar. God has created both good and evil, but He is beyond both. He has created the two parties and set them warring against each other while He looks on as a witness. All the warring of good and bad, pleasure and pain, is merely the play of God, this creation. It is His laugh. Swami Chidananda said, if evil thoughts appear, be indifferent to them. They come. They come due to the impressions of previous lives, and it is good they rise to the conscious plane. It will be easier for you to control them. Somebody asked the question, frequently evil thoughts arise in my mind. How can I be saved from them? Swamiji said, one should drive them away resolutely. You have read in the Gita, the self is attained by continual practice and renunciation. There is no other way. Surrender yourself to the Lord, make Him your own, and evil thoughts will pass away. It is absolutely necessary to make Him your own. Swami Akhandananda said, to those who earnestly call on God, good and evil lose their distinction. Both are equal to them. A question was asked, why there was so much evil in the world? Swamiji replied, how much evil have you seen at this young age? He had seen people steal, tell lies, beat others, etc. Whenever you see others do evil, tell yourself not to imitate them, but to learn from your observations. The wild that you see is meant to teach you not to do such things. That's what you have to learn. But do not hate the evildoers. Take a lesson from the observation. Swami Vivekananda said, it is desire that is the root of all evil, and no one else is at fault. Making compromises with evil leads only to self-deceit. You can satisfy your own lower self, but your higher self will cry out one day for a satisfactory explanation, and failure to provide that will lead to certain retribution. When the mind is overcome with evil thoughts, it becomes dejected and inactive like a mouse in the grip of a cat. But why should you suffer it to be like that? In situations like that, you should summon up within you the strength of a hero and shake off all evil thoughts. This is the only way out. It is no excuse to say that your mind is not under your control. Why should you let your mind take the upper hand? The Master was the living embodiment of purity. Referring to Sri Ramakrishna. Contemplation of Him or taking His name makes you free from all evil thoughts. The mind goes up on a higher plane. The Kundalini is roused. Never give way to evil thoughts. When they come, pray earnestly to the Master and you will be rid of them. Sri Ramakrishna said, none of the three gunas can reach truth. Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. We are all under the control of these three gunas. These gunas are playing with us. And we are identifying with these gunas and dancing according to the gunas. Sri Ramakrishna compares them to robbers. All these three, Sattva, Guna, Rajas, they are robbers. They rob your spiritual treasure. They are like robbers who cannot come to a public place for fear of being arrested. Sattva, Rajas and Tamas are like so many robbers. Then Sri Ramakrishna tells a story. Once a man was going through a forest. Suddenly, 3 robbers fell upon him and robbed him of all his possessions. One of them said, what's the use of keeping this man alive? So saying, he was about to kill him with his sword. And the second robber interrupted and said, oh, no. What's the use of killing him? Tie him hand and foot and leave him there. The robbers bound his hands and feet and went away. After a while, the third robber returned and said to the man, oh, I am sorry. Are you hurt? I will release you from your bonds. After setting the man free, the thief said, come with me. I will take you to the public highway. After a long time, they reached the road. Then the robber said, follow this road. Over there is your house. At this, the man said, sir, you have been very good to me. Come with me to my house. Oh, no, the robber replied, I can't go there. The police will know it. This world itself is the forest. Nice analogy. This world is the forest. The 3 robbers prowling here are Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. It is they that rob a man of the knowledge of truth. Tamas wants to destroy him. Rajas binds him to the world, but Sattva rescues him from the clutches of Rajas and Tamas. Under the protection of Sattva, man is rescued from anger, passion and the other evil effects of Tamas. Further, Sattva loosens the bonds of the world. But Sattva also is a robber. It cannot give him the ultimate knowledge of truth, though it shows him the road leading to the supreme word of God. Setting him on the path, the Sattva tells him, look yonder, there is your home. Even Sattva is far away from the knowledge of Brahman. How to deal with the wicked? The devotee asked, sir, if a wicked man is about to do harm or actually does so, should we keep quiet then? Good question. Sri Ramakrishna answered, a man living in society should make a show of tamas to protect himself from evil-minded people, but he should not harm anybody in anticipation of harm likely to be done him. Then he tells the story of the snake. Some cowherd boys used to tender their cows in a meadow where a terrible poisonous snake lived. Everyone was on the alert for fear of it. One day Brahmachari was going along the meadow. The boys ran to him and said, sir, please don't go that way. A venomous snake lives over there. What of it, my good children? Said the Brahmachari. I am not afraid of the snake. I know some mantras. So saying, he continued on his way along the meadow. But the cowherd boys, being afraid, did not accompany him. In the meantime, the snake moved swiftly towards him with upraised hood. As soon as it came near, Brahmachari recited a mantra, and the snake lay at his feet like an earthworm. The Brahmachari said, look here, why do you go about doing harm? Come, I will give you a holy word. By repeating it, you will learn to love God. Ultimately, you will realize Him and so get rid of your violent nature. Saying this, he taught the snake a holy word and initiated him into spiritual life. The snake bowed before the teacher and said, Reverend sir, how shall I practice spiritual discipline? Repeat that sacred word, said the teacher, and do no harm to anybody. As he was about to depart, the Brahmachari said, I shall see you again. Some days passed, and the cowherd boys noticed that the snake would not bite. They threw stones at it. Still it showed no anger. It behaved as if it were an earthworm. One day one of the boys came up close to it, caught it by the tail, and whirling it round and round, dashed it again and again on the ground and threw it away. The snake vomited blood and became unconscious. It was stunned. It could not move. So thinking it dead, the boys went their way. Late at night, the snake regained consciousness. Slowly and with great difficulty, it dragged itself into its hole. Its bones were broken, and it could scarcely move. Many days passed. The snake became a mere skeleton covered with a skin. Now and then, at night, it would come out in search of food. For fear of the boys, it would not leave its hole during the daytime. Since receiving the sacred word from his teacher, it had given up doing harm to others. It maintained its life on dirt, leaves, or the fruit that dropped from the trees. About a year later, the brahmachari came that way again and asked after the snake. The cowherd boys told him that it was dead, but he couldn't believe them. He knew that the snake would not die before attaining the fruit of the holy word with which it had been initiated. He found his way to the place and, searching here and there, called it by the name he had given it. Hearing the teacher's voice, it came out of its hole and bowed before him with great reverence. "How are you?" asked the brahmachari. "I am well, sir," replied the snake. "But," the teacher asked, "why are you so thin?" The snake replied, "Reverend sir, you ordered me not to harm anybody, so I have been living only on leaves and fruit. Perhaps that has made me thinner." The snake had developed the quality of sattva. It could not be angry with anyone. It had totally forgotten that the cowherd boys had almost killed it. The brahmachari said, "It can't be mere want of food that has reduced you to this state. There must be some other reason. Think a little." Then the snake remembered that the boys had dashed it against the ground. It said, "Yes, Reverend sir, now I remember. The boys one day dashed me violently against the ground. They are ignorant after all. They didn't realize what a great change had come over my mind. How could they know I wouldn't bite or harm anyone?" The brahmachari exclaimed, "What a shame! You are such a fool. You don't know how to protect yourself. I asked you not to bite, but I didn't forbid you to hiss. Why didn't you hiss? Why didn't you scare them by hissing? So, you must hiss at wicked people. You must frighten them lest they should do you harm, but never inject your venom into them. One must not injure others." In this creation of God, there is a variety of things: men, animals, trees, plants. Among the animals, some are good, some bad. There are ferocious animals like the tiger. Some trees bear fruit, some sweet as nectar, and others bear fruit that is poisonous. Likewise, among human beings, there are the good and the wicked, the holy and the unholy. There are some who are devoted to God, and others who are attached to the world. Then one of the devotees, Hari, he asked, "Why is there so much suffering in the world?" Master said, "This world is the Leela of God. It is like a game. In this game, there are joy and sorrow, virtue and vice, knowledge and ignorance, good and evil. The game cannot continue if sin and suffering are altogether eliminated from the creation. In a game of hide and seek, one must touch a granny in order to be free. But the granny is never pleased if she is touched at the very outset. It is God's wish that the play should continue for some time. Then out of 100,000 kites, at best but one or two break free, and thou dost laugh and clap thy hands, O mother, watching them." In other words, after the practice of hard spiritual discipline, one or two have the vision of God through His grace and are liberated. Then the Divine Mother claps her hands in joy and exclaims, "Bravo! There they go." Hari said, "Master, but this play of God is our death." Master said smilingly, "Please tell me what you are." God alone has become all this Maya, the universe, living beings, and 24 cosmic principles. As a snake, I bite, and as a charmer, I cure. It is God himself who has become both Vidya and Avidya. He remains deluded by the Maya of Avidya, ignorance. Again, with the help of the Guru, he is cured by the Maya of Vidya, knowledge. Ignorance, knowledge, and perfect wisdom. The Jnani sees that God alone exists and is the doer, that he creates, preserves, and destroys. The Vijnani sees that it is God who has become all this. Well, since we are all in the play of this world, certainly we should keep away from evil. All the spiritual masters have said emphatically that we should very definitely keep away from evil. Bad samskaras come up on the surface of the mind, but pray to God with faith and devotion. Repeat his name devotedly. Pray to him with sincere heart. You will be able to overcome all the evil samskaras troubling you. Page 983. Yam said, the master used to say, Gopal is in the state of Paramahamsa. But I also distinctly remember his forbidding Gopal to be intimate with women devotees. Many a time he warned him about it. Narendra said, speaking to me about Gopal, the master asked why. If Gopal was a real Paramahamsa, he should hanker after money. He doesn't belong to this place, the master said. Those who are my own will always come here. He used to be angry with tea because he was Gopal's constant companion and didn't come to the master more often. Gopal has spiritual realizations, no doubt, the master said to me, but he has attained them all of a sudden without the necessary preparations. He is not one of my own. If he is, why haven't I wept for him? Some are proclaiming Gopal as the reincarnation of Nityananda. But times without number the master said to me, in me alone are embodied Advaita, Chaitanya and Nityananda. I am all these three. About 8 o'clock in the morning, two devotees, one a householder and the other a monk, were conversing in a room in the Bharanagar monastery when Yam came in. The devotees were of the same age, 24 or 25 years old. Yam intended to spend 3 days at the monastery. He went to the shrine and saluted the deity. After visiting Narendra Rakkal and the other brothers, he at last came into the room where the two devotees were engaged in the conversation. The household devotee wanted to renounce the world. The monk was trying to persuade him not to do so. Monk said, why don't you finish the few duties you have in the world? Very soon they will be left behind. A man was told that he would go to hell. He asked a friend, what is hell like? Thereupon the friend began to draw a picture of hell on the ground with a piece of chalk. No sooner was the picture drawn than the man rolled over it and said, now I have gone through the hell. The householder said, I don't relish worldly life. Ah, how happy you are here. Monk said, why don't you renounce the world if you want to? Why do you talk about it so much? But I repeat, why don't you enjoy the fun once for all? Shashi finished the regular worship in the worship hall. About 11, the brothers of the Math returned from the Ganges. After taking their baths, they put on clean clothes, went to the shrine, prostrated themselves before the deity and meditated there a little while. After the food was offered to the deity, they had their meal. Yam ate with them. It was evening. Incense was burnt before the pictures of gods and goddesses, and the evening service was performed. Rakkal, Shashi, the elder Gopal and Harish were seated in the big hall. Yam also was there. Rakkal warned one of the brothers to be careful about the food to be offered to the master in the shrine. Rakal said to Shashi and the others, "One day I ate part of his, meaning the master's refreshments, before he took them. At this he said, 'I can't look at you. How could you do such a thing?' I burst into tears. The elder Gopal said, 'One day at Kasipur, I breathed hard on his food. At this he said, 'Take that food away.'" Yam and Narendra were pacing the veranda and recalling old times. Narendra said, "I did not believe in anything." Yam, "You mean the forms of God?" Narendra, "At first I did not accept most of what the master said. One day he asked me, 'Then why do you come here?' I replied, 'I come here to see you, not to listen to you.'" Yam said, "What did he say to that?" Narendra said, "He was very much pleased." So stop here. So Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, that you don't have to cry. The whole thing is in this Gospel. If you are sincere, take any idea that you want to, practice it. Get the result. That's all. Any question to ask or anything to talk about? Stop here. Chant the name of the Lord and His glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart might be wiped clean and quench that mighty forest fire, worldly lust raging furiously within. O name, stream down in moonlight on the lotus heart, opening its cup to knowledge of thyself, O self, drowned deep in the waves of His bliss, tasting His nectar at every step, bathing in His name, that bath for weary souls. Various are thy names, O Lord. In each and every name thy power resides. No times are set, no rites are needful for chanting of thy name. So vast is thy mercy, how huge then is my wretchedness, who find in this empty life and heart no devotion to thy name. O my mind, be humbler than a blade of grass, be patient and bearing like a tree. Take no honor to thyself, give honor to all. Chant unceasingly the name of the Lord. O Lord and soul of the universe, mine is no prayer for wealth or retinue, the playthings of lust or the toys of fame. As many times as I may be reborn, grant me, O Lord, a steadfast love for thee. A drowning man in this world's fearful ocean is thy servant, O sweet one. In thy mercy, consider him as dust beneath thy feet. How I long for the day when an instant's separation from thee, O Lord, will be as 1,000 years, when my heart burns away with its desire, and the world without thee is a heartless void. Prostrate at thy feet let me be, in unwavering devotion, neither imploring the embrace of thine arms, nor bewailing the withdrawal of thy presence, though it tears my soul asunder. O thou, who stillest the hearts of thy devotees, do with me what thou wilt, for thou art my heart's beloved, thou and thou alone. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness to light, and lead us from death to immortality. May all be free from dangers, may all realize what is good, may all be actuated by noble thoughts, may all rejoice everywhere. May all be happy, may all be free from disease, may all realize what is good, may none be subject to misery. May the wicked become virtuous, may the virtuous attain tranquility, may the tranquil be free from bonds, may the freed make others free. May good betide all people, may the sovereign righteously rule the earth, may all beings ever attain what is good, may the worlds be prosperous and happy. May the clouds pour rain in time, may the earth be blessed with crops, may all countries be freed from calamity, may holy men live without fear. May the Lord, the destroyer of sins, the presiding deity of all sacred works, be satisfied. For he being pleased, the whole universe becomes pleased. He being satisfied, the whole universe feels satisfied.